I'm Tom Polskill. I'm a student here at Galvanize.
So my name is Stephen Furo.
My name is Jason Amador.
Yeah, I'm Gavin Lockridge.
Hi, I'm Lance Hunter. I was part of the GlobalThermonuclearWarTheGame development team.
My password is definitely not password.
I'm in.
All right.
Podcast.
Alright, cool. Let's begin a game. So this is the green one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Oh,
you
wait.
need to be red. I need to be green. This is blue, I
This is
think.
blue. This is green. This is...
We need to put like little labels on them or something.
All right, start shooting. Ooh, going for the glass cannon
Green
strategy.
is working better.
Yeah. Who's that? Oh, you got it.
It's shaking so much.
See that anxiety?
All right.
Cool. Peace.
So I took up the mobile end of the project. I also did some work on the back end, but I would say that primarily I led the mobile.
So if you went to our homepage of our game, I built out the front end of the website.
So my primary role in this project was to handle the phaser end, all of the animation stuff. So the board game that you look at that's projected on the screen and all the stuff that kind of goes along with that.
So my role is, I was assigned to, we call it the chaos team, and it's a term from one of my previous software teams for people that kind of just work on whatever is not working or is sort of not on anyone else's plate.
Let's see here. My role is partially game design and architecture for the active game state. I also wrote the server API for that game. I then went ahead and pulled in the work and got us hosted and handled all the hosting and deployment as well.
So we coded in Flutter. Flutter is Google's new offering compares to like React Native. So we can log in here.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I've never used Flutter. I have a little bit of experience with Swift, but really this was my first finished project that I've done in mobile development. So there was a ton to learn there, messing with Flutter, messing with Dart, trying to figure out which documentation site I should be in. All of these were challenges that I ran into.
Okay, yeah, so Bulma it's a pretty light framework to use. It's a lot easier to target different elements that you want to change and style up. It's also it also has a lot of pre-made elements that you can work with.
So Phaser is a JavaScript library that it's pretty much a game framework. It's built using Pixie.js, which is a rendering thing that a rendering library that works with the canvas, and it also uses a number of other libraries, including Tone.js and some other things that help it to make sound and to make images appear on the canvas and things like that. So it's really a game framework that you can use. It's very versatile. Lots of things have been built on it, and it seemed like the best option for what we were trying to do.
So I worked a lot on getting the framework of our Vue website together and connecting the Vue routers to the server routers, and got to work with some of the Koa server work in that. Got to set up some of our databases, did a lot of work on the laser pointer tracking, which is a little bit of a weird thing, and then connecting that to Phaser. So it was fun because I wasn't the sole person working on any one part except the laser tracking, but I got to touch a little bit of everybody's stuff.
It's interesting. This was a lot of refining, I think was in my role. We're partially doing game design and the game structure. I had to put a lot of work into making sure that the idea was clean enough for everyone to plug everything into it and make that work. Basically, we had to make sure that, you know, across multiple devices and across multiple platforms and different forms of interface, that we had something that was feasible to actually get done and would work out cleanly.
Yeah, so I think that most of the things that we ran into ended up being more challenging than we originally thought they were going to be. Coming up with a solid game idea, I think, was like the first major hurdle we had. We had decided we wanted to use the projector and we wanted to calibrate it with the computer and use color tracking, but we had to like get a game for that, and then the game had to be fun as well.
You know, I think one of the challenges was just getting our Git workflow, you know, between you know, everybody in our group, all 5 people, and managing merge conflicts, all of our separate branches. And I think at the beginning it was a little slow, but now I feel a lot more comfortable, you know, resolving merge conflicts and working in a bigger team environment with Git.
We have 5 developers on the job, and all of the work that goes into being a good team, and it was a good team, we were able to specialize. But when it comes to making all of our pieces fit together, that was definitely a challenge, I think, for everybody on the team.
Pieces of code being written by different people and then have them be able to communicate. And that was a challenge at multiple points. And consistently, the way I handled it is read through the code. If it's my code, reread it. If it's someone else's, read it for the first time. If I didn't write it, talk to the person who wrote it to make sure I understand what both pieces of code do, and just sort of think through what are the connection points and what should be happening, and then try and just log things, what is happening, identify the misconnections, and kind of just piece by piece repair it.
You see, what got me excited about this project is interesting. I had this, like, you know, what if I made a Hearthstone clone for my capstone idea? And that's a terrible idea. That's a very difficult thing to do. It involves a lot of graphic elements, a lot of things that, you know, are just, it's nuts for one person to try and make a Hearthstone clone in 2 weeks. So I even, you know, I was telling my friends, like, hey guys, help talk me out of this really dumb idea. Let's do something more feasible, like, you know, a cost calculator, you know, budgeting management tool. And of course, Mark Major, with the instructions in class, was like, no, do the Hearthstone clone.
Yeah, so this project is really exciting, I think, start to finish. I have a degree in political science, so like the fact that we're doing thermonuclear war is really cool to me, like game theory, all of that. I've had a projector for years that I've been playing games on, but I've never thought that it would be like an interactive sort of touchscreen vibe, so the fact that I can go home and play with like my roommates seems really cool to me. And the team that we worked with is awesome. I think we all picked up slack wherever we could, made it happen.
And finally landed on the LEDs, but the idea of having that sort of mixed medium project and the challenge of doing the network communication between them was really exciting to me.
I like being able to dig into a problem when something isn't working and figure out why it's not working.
So I really like solving problems. And as a software developer, it's really common to have maybe a very broad problem that you have to solve. And then you can break it down into a number of other problems that then break down into a number of other problems. And so it's pretty much just a big puzzle that you have to try to put together.
My favorite part of being a software developer is getting to create things that are always these interesting logic puzzles rapidly.
I love learning new things, and as a developer, it's constantly learning new things. You know, there's always a new framework, there's always something new to work, and also there's, you know, there's always a chance to improve.
I like how you get to build concrete things, you can test them. If something's not working, you can be almost confident that it's your fault, right? And it allows you to do this problem solving, but at the same time bring your own style to problem solving, do it your way.